The NFL draft is on the horizon, and Chicago Bears fans are eagerly waiting to see how the team will shape its future. With the number 10 overall pick, the Bears have a unique opportunity to significantly improve their roster. But, as with any draft, there are always worst-case scenarios to consider. As we dive into this exercise, let's look at how things could go wrong for the Bears in the first round. While there are several exciting possibilities for the Bears, it's essential to also explore what could happen if things don't go as planned. There are a number of talented players that could be drafted ahead of Chicago's number 10 pick. If those top prospects are taken before the Bears' turn, it could leave them scrambling for the best available option, which might not align with their needs. Let's take a look at a potential worst-case draft scenario. For starters, let's consider the top 5 picks in this mock draft. In the worst-case scenario, teams like the Carolina Panthers and New England Patriots might take players who are key positions for the Bears, like offensive linemen or pass rushers, pushing other highly ranked players further down the board. The top picks are expected to include Cam Ward, a quarterback who has impressed scouts throughout the pre-draft process. Even though the Bears aren't in the market for a QB, Ward could be a highly sought-after player in the top 5. After Ward, players like Travis Abdul-Carter and Will Campbell could go off the board, followed by Mason Graham, a strong defensive lineman who fits well with a number of NFL teams. When we extend the draft order from picks 6 to 10, there are several other players who could go off the board before Chicago's turn. Ashton Jeanty, a highly talented edge rusher, could be taken by the Raiders, and Armin Maimu, an offensive tackle, might be selected by a team like the Jets that needs to solidify its offensive line. Other players like Mike Green, a defensive end, and Tyler Warren, a tight end, could also be taken by teams looking to address their immediate needs. So, what happens when these players are all off the board by the time the Bears pick? In this worst-case scenario, Chicago could be left with limited options at number 10. With the top prospects already gone, the Bears may not have a clear-cut solution to their biggest needs, which include improving their pass rush, offensive line, and secondary. There's also the possibility that players who do fit the Bears' needs are available, but they aren't the top-tier talent that fans might hope for. That's when Chicago's management might have to make tough decisions. Do they take the best available player, even if he doesn't fit the team's most immediate needs? Or do they try to move down and accumulate more assets, hoping for a better draft outcome? In the best-case scenario, the Bears might find a team willing to trade up to number 10, offering valuable picks in return. However, finding that trade partner isn't always a guarantee, especially on draft night when the clock is ticking and teams are under pressure to make quick decisions. The Bears front office, led by General Manager Ryan Poles, will have to weigh all options carefully in this scenario. Ultimately, if the Bears cannot trade down and their top targets are off the board, they'll have to make a selection that balances best player available with team need. It won't be an easy decision, but it's one that will shape the Bears' future for years to come. Now that we've established the worst-case scenario for the Bears, it's time to look at some of the players who might still be available at number 10. While the pick may not be ideal, there are still some promising players who could help address the Bears' needs in the short and long term. Let's break down some of the potential draft picks. Amarian Hampton, RB. Amarian Hampton is one of the top running backs in this draft, and although taking a running back at number 10 might seem like a reach, he could be a great fit for the Bears. With 2 years of strong tape, Hampton has demonstrated his ability to produce both in the passing and running game, making him a dynamic weapon for any offense. In a worst-case scenario where other top picks are off the board, Hampton might be the best option for the Bears to consider. However, the value of a running back at number 10 is always a hotly debated topic. Some would argue that taking a running back this high isn't worth it, especially when there are so many other needs to address. But with Hampton's combination of vision, power, and production, he could be a game-changer for the Bears' backfield. In the right system, he could form a strong 1-2 punch with the current running back room. Will Johnson, CB. Another player who could be available at number 10 is cornerback Will Johnson. Although the Bears' need for a cornerback may not be immediate, Johnson is an extremely talented prospect with great size and coverage skills. He would be a major upgrade over some of the Bears' current cornerback depth, and his long-term potential could help stabilize the secondary. However, the Bears have already invested a lot in their cornerback room, including high picks on players like Tyreek Stevenson. Drafting Johnson could create a crowded cornerback room, which could ultimately lead to trades or a shift in roles for some players. Still, if the best available player is Johnson, he could help make the Bears' defense even stronger in the future. Kelvin Banks Jr., OT. As the Bears continue to rebuild their offensive line, selecting an offensive tackle like Kelvin Banks could be a solid move. Banks has shown incredible potential, although his technique still needs refinement. Despite his rawness, his physical tools are undeniable. With some coaching, Banks could evolve into a top-tier left tackle for years to come. This is where the Bears might have to take a calculated risk. If they can't trade down and Banks is available, the Bears could grab him and address their offensive line, a position of need that hasn't been fully addressed in recent drafts. While Banks may not be the most polished prospect at number 10, his upside makes him a worthwhile gamble. Malachi Starks, S. Starks is another intriguing prospect who could fall to the Bears at number 10. As one of the top safeties in this draft class, Starks is a versatile player who can fit in multiple defensive schemes. His instincts and tackling ability make him a valuable asset for any defense, and with the Bears' secondary needing some help, Starks could be a solution. Although safety might not be the most pressing need for the Bears, drafting a player like Starks could be beneficial in the long run. With uncertainty surrounding the future of Jaquan Brisker and Kevin Bard, Starks could be the future centerpiece of Chicago's defense. His ability to play both safety positions and his football IQ would make him a key player in the Bears' secondary for years to come. While there are some intriguing options at number 10, there's one pick that would likely send the Bears into a tailspin, selecting Shemar Stewart. Shemar Stewart is an incredibly gifted player with tremendous physical tools, but he has one major flaw. His production has not matched his potential. Despite his impressive measurements and combine numbers, Stewart's tape leaves a lot to be desired. With only 4.5 sacks over 3 seasons, Stewart's lack of production raises red flags for teams that are looking for immediate contributors. In a draft class filled with top-tier talent, taking a gamble on Stewart at number 10 could be disastrous. His lack of a diverse pass rush arsenal combined with a history of inconsistency makes him a risky pick. The Bears are already in a position where they need immediate contributors, and Stewart may not be ready to step into a major role right away. If the Bears were to select Stewart at number 10, it would likely be met with widespread criticism. Fans and analysts would question the decision, given the depth of talent available at other positions. Even though Stewart's physical gifts are undeniable, the Bears may be better off targeting a player who has shown more consistent production at the college level. While the worst-case scenario for the Bears might leave them in a tough spot at number 10, there are still several quality players available who could help the team address its needs. Whether it's a running back like Hampton, a cornerback like Johnson, or an offensive tackle like Banks, the Bears have options to make a solid pick. Ultimately, the Bears' front office will have to evaluate all of these players and determine who is the best fit for the team. Drafting at number 10 is a critical moment in Chicago's rebuild, and making the right choice could set the team up for long-term success. If the Bears can't trade down and all their top targets are off the board, they'll need to make a decision that balances need, value, and potential. No matter which player they select, the Bears' future will be heavily influenced by the decisions they make on draft night.